Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's Cheesy TV back with the final video, for a couple of hours until the NBA game is over. We have here some new music. A decent amount of good new music. Obviously, Metro Boomin dropped the Spider-Verse soundtrack. We covered that on the channel. Wasn't a huge fan of it. I don't know how often I'm going to go back and listen to that. But yeah, let's just get right into the music, starting with The Weeknd, Playboi Carti, and Madonna's brand new song, Popular. What a damn collab. What a combination of artists here. And this is a part of, the Idol Volume 1. The Weeknd is starting his acting career with an HBO original series. And it's supposed to be an album, also with the single Double Fantasy with Future. I'm not sure when that's coming out, but this track, I don't know. It was a little disappointing. Playboi Carti's part, very repetitive, didn't do much for me. People said Madonna's part was pretty strong, but I just don't see it. I don't think this was a great song. There's not a lot of music this week that I'm going to go back to and listen to again, so I don't know. I think this is a pretty weak week for music. But moving on to Gunna. Gunna is back with a brand new track, Bread and Butter. I really hope he drops music this soon. I don't think this track was great. I don't think this is really his lane to be all serious and introspective. I want some hype Gunna. I don't want to sound like that type of hip-hop fan, but that's kind of what we want from Gunna. But it's still nice to hear him back, and I really want to see what he can do on an album. I think he's dropping new music. Hopefully this summer, honestly. I think maybe his manager talked about it. But Lucky dropped his new track, No Bap, and obviously the Hillbillies by Kendrick and Keem came out this week, but we're not going to talk about that because it didn't come out on streaming, so it was a decent track. It was a nice little drill track, a nice little fun, like Family Ties vibe, I guess. I don't know. It's how the creator was in the music video, yada, yada, yada. I could have done a standalone video, but No Bap by Lucky is actually pretty good. It came with a music video. This is probably one of my favorite tracks of the week. Lucky just keeps doing it. I love the tracks he's came out with. Leave Her. Obviously a lot of these were on TikTok and, snippets and very catchy songs. I think his next album is going to be his strongest. At least I'd hope so. But yeah. Moneybagg Yo dropped a nice little mixtape for us called Hard to Love. Rarely one to shy away from tough topics and pain parables. Moneybagg Yo cracks open his chest cavity once again for Hard to Love, coming more than 2 years after his fourth album, A Gangster's Pain, which was a great album. This full-length effort furthers the CMG Star's engrossing mix of booming trap beats and unflinchingly real themes. After quashing rumors and shutting down haters, the South Memphis native proceeds to apply pressure to those who foolishly underestimate the caliber of his lyricism. Drug consumption and concerns eerily commingle throughout the project, from the sips and slurps, the faded recollections, queasy complications. He taps in with Toxic Twin Future and trades vicious bars with the unstoppable Glorilla. Meanwhile, he makes space on his Bread Gang signee YTB Fat and two of the project's hardest cuts, and a Lil Durk assisted track. So this wasn't bad. I only listened to about 4 tracks from here, and maybe a couple of them were singles. I didn't remember, so I just kind of decided to throw them all in and listen to them. They were honestly pretty decent. Probably top 5 to top 10 of the 20-something tracks that dropped this week. I really like the song with... I like the song with Glorilla quite a bit. I think that might have been a single. I do not remember. Maybe that's why it's got that familiarity. So yeah, Kenny Mason dropped a new track. Kenny Mason is like me and my dad's some of our favorite hip hop artists. One of them, my dad really liked him going to Lollapalooza a couple years ago and going to his really small set. Now he's out here working with JID, so it's really cool to see that first full circle. And Dracula is just such an artistic song. Kenny Mason brings so much to the rap game, so many different styles. I think it's really sick. Kenny Mason's a guy that I would not mind seeing stick around. Fago dropped a track with Didi Osama. I don't know how long Didi Osama's been doing it, but people kind of act like he's an upcoming artist. Fago, I don't know. Cactus Jack kind of did him dirty. I'm not really sure about him. People have been debating on music forums that he could have possibly been a bigger artist with a different label, that kind of fit his sound a little more. I don't think he really sounds like Cactus Jack artist. He has some mainstream appeal, but he is still kind of stuck in that underground sound a little bit. I don't know. Very interesting. Burna Boy, Sitting on Top of the World. I don't have much to say about it. I mean, it's a bop. It's a club hit. I mean, that's what Burna Boy kind of does. You know, the international music scene kind of does that. You know, just music that's enjoyable to kind of listen to in the background. So yeah. 2C dropped a new album. 2C is an up-and-coming artist. I mean, he's not really upcoming. He's pretty popular by now. You know, with Favorite Song. He's really fucking milked that song. He had Khaled on the remix. He had a Toxic version with Future. He had a song with 21 Savage on this album. And I think 21 Savage's part was really good. Made for a strong feature on the album. This video is not going to be long, by the way. I kind of got to cram some stuff in. Even before, you know, his viral songs, you know, and his chart-topping songs earlier this year, 2C demonstrated a talent for rapping personal and painful thoughts into engaging melodic rap bundles. Much like Platinum Heart and Poetic Pain before it, the Raleigh, North Carolina artist Najor further refines this already effective approach. Reflective admissions and humbling disclosures characterize a great number of these cuts. You know, he holds nothing back. He shares a harrowing account of teenage hardship and family strife that contributes to his complicated worldview. Toxicity undeniably plays a part here. You know, embittering ballades. He does an admirable job of explaining where he's been and what he's gleaned from his experiences. You know, he has a very evocative smash hit, you know, with multiple different versions and features. He is milking it, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's what a lot of industry plants do, and I'm not calling him that because he's not really out there yet, but nothing wrong with that. You got to get your bag early on so you can kind of make music for fun. I mean, that's kind of the plan for, you know, the average rapper. You know, you kind of kiss some ass for a while early on in your career, and then you can just kind of chill out. Dave and Central C came together with Sprinter, which was a surprisingly good track. I'm not a huge fan of either of these artists. I don't like that London accent. I'm not trying to be offensive, but in rap it's just kind of cringy, and some of their lingo and stuff is just it doesn't age well here in America for some reason. But that song was pretty decent. Machine Gun Kelly came out with the new track Pressure, which is probably one of his strongest tracks to date, especially since his whole emo punk era he had, which I was not a fan of at all. Not bad. Lotto dropped a Put It On The Floor Again remix with Cardi B. Maybe she already released that. I don't know, guys. I'm getting confused with my singles. If I talk about a track 2 weeks in a row on here, I apologize. Young Blue collabed with MB&L. I don't know who that is, but I do know who Young Blue is, who's been making waves over the last couple of years. The song's okay. Friday dropped a new album. You know, Friday's worked with very big artists, you know, Lil Baby, DJ Khaled, you know. He's been really making a name for himself, you know, expressive warbles and muted productions suffuse hip-hop hymns. You know, a perfect feature in Vori being on this album, Lost in Melody. It's a deluxe. I didn't listen to the original, so I decided to, you know, he's got Ty Dolla $ign on here. It's okay. He also has a single with Chris Brown. He dropped a single with Chris Brown, so this guy's really making waves in the R&B scene and already getting some of the bigger artists in that scene on here. So that song was okay. You know, Jackboy and Tech dropped Presidential Cemetery. Obviously, Jackboy is known for sounding like Kodak Black. That's why I listen to him. Mozzie dropped 10%. Again, I say this every week. This is kind of like the undercard. This is kind of okay, these guys are okay. But our finale is Kid Cudi, Porsche Topless. Maybe I need to listen to that again. Maybe I'm too zoned out when I'm listening to music. I didn't get too much out of this. It was Benny X produced, and I really like what Benny X is doing. Benny X could honestly become a Metro Boomin. He's worked with Drake, he's worked with Yeet, he's worked with Kid Cudi, Lancey Foe, Cochise. I mean, the list goes on and on. He has made hits for so many different, maybe not necessarily chart topping, but pretty good songs for a lot of artists. So if he put an album together with some of the collaborations he's had, it would go through the fucking roof. And I think that's something that Benny X is going to need to take advantage of over the next year or two of his career, because he is a extremely talented producer. This song's no different. The beat is pretty good. I'm not a huge fan of it, and I forgot to mention Kid Cudi's dropping a new album called Insano. I don't know when, but he announced on Twitter, I think, that's the new title of the album. But yeah, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. That's going to do it. You know, I know the video kind of ended abruptly, but the game starts in 14 minutes. I'm going to try to get as much Dexter watched as I can before the game kind of starts. So If the game's good, I'll recap. If it was like game one and I'm kind of like, I'll probably just go to bed, honestly. I got work